Happy Dark Fleetings, everyone! This is my 2024 Happy Goat Horror and slight author wrap-up. And also, the day that this video is going out, I am filming it a little bit in advance, but it's my birthday today. I'm 23 years old. Okay, so going to be going over, as I did last year, sort of like my stats a little bit. So I like to be, you know, transparent about like my numbers and things with everyone, because it doesn't matter. This is a hobby, not a job, but it's a hobby that I take like really seriously, and I devote like an insane amount of hours to it because I love it so much. And even though this is a small growing channel, but it is growing, and also website and stuff, so I took like numbers a little bit on like where I've improved and things. Also, I'm gonna tell you my top 5 favourite stories of the year altogether, because I've done lists on like my top 10 collections, top 10 novels, etc, etc, but I have my top 5 overall stories, so that could be novels, a collection, a story from a collection, whatever, everything counts. And then some personal triumphs and what we're going to be doing next year, and you know, just like these kinds of details. So I'm really happy to be here and really grateful that for my little tribe. You guys are so cool, and like I've made some really like good genuine friends this year through Happy Goat Horror and doing book reviews and things, and also just like finding people that read my own work as well. That's been really cool. So let's get into all the stuff. I've written notes so that I don't ramble, because I know that that's a tendency, and that is something I'm going to try to improve on next year. Also, I'm going to really try to stop saying and like so much, because I annoy myself sometimes when I'm editing my videos, but I have fat thumbs and it's really hard to edit out an individual like when it's 0.2 of a second long. So going to try really hard to just get that out of my usual stream of dialogue. So the total books I read this year, and I think all but 1 or 2 of them were horror, 124 books in total. 58 of those were novels, and then the rest were, I had 5 non-fiction books, I read 11 anthologies, and then the rest were short story collections, little bits and pieces, and then short stories I actually don't know across the collections and anthologies I read, but somewhere between 5 and 600 I think I'm at. 5 and 700 maybe. It's really hard to tell. I could add them all up, but I really don't have the time. And of those 124 books I read, I gave 37 of them 5 stars on Amazon and Goodreads. I personally don't like doing star ratings because I think they're a bit arbitrary, because everyone is different on what they think a good star rating is. So I know some people that if they really liked the book, it's a 5 out of 5. For me, a really good book that I enjoyed is a 3 out of 5. And then I know to a lot of people deem that as mediocre because it's the middle number, but that's not how I think of it. A 5 out of 5 book for me is a book I would read again, despite my insane TBR of unread books. I never have time to reread books, so if it's a book I love enough, or a book that I thought was like perfect, oh, I said like, didn't I? Or a book I thought was perfect, which is very few books. So my most read authors of the year, these are the top 3 authors that I read the most books by. So in joint second place with 4 books each, Erica Summers and S.Q. McGrath, both of whom I discovered only this year, so that should tell you something about how much I love their work. In first place this year, and I'm pretty sure this was the same as last year too, with 5 books, was Tim Leben. I just love Tim's books. And so in terms of the website, the number of reviews I posted this year, 112 reviews, and I'm pretty happy with that. I did have a little bit of help from a very kind person that took a couple of those off my hands, but I think it was about 3 or 4 reviews, but generally I've written them all. And then my most popular review on the website, my most viewed review that had the most traffic, was Holly by Stephen King, which I guess that's predictable, because Stephen King was easily the most popular author I reviewed this year. Even so, my most read review still to this day, since I posted it nearly 2 years ago, is No One Rides for Free by Judith Sonnet. That one is still consistently getting the most traffic every single month, and I posted it. It was at least 18 months ago, but I think closer to 2 years. So I guess people really love that book, or they're really interested in reading about it. I posted 36 articles. So I make sure that I post a book review every single Monday, and I've managed to do that without fail since I started the website about 2.5 years ago. I do add more if I have more, like a bit of an abundance of reviews that I haven't yet posted. My plan was to post an article every Friday, but I've prioritized reading and writing the book review, so a lot of the time I just don't have time. But 36 isn't bad. That's more than half the weeks in the year, isn't it? So I didn't miss loads of them. And my most popular article this year and to date is every Adam Neville book ranked. As my Adam Neville content does tend to get more traffic than most of my other content, so I guess people really love Adam Neville as much as I do. On YouTube, here are my numbers. So I posted 102 videos this year. We have 177 in total because we started the YouTube channel almost a year after I started the website, but that's not too bad, is it, for videos? And this last month I've been really good. I've managed to post 3 a week, every week, all month, and I do have plans for next year, but we'll get to that in a minute. The most viewed video on my channel this year so far, with 1.2 thousand views, oh yeah, high rolling numbers, was an Alien Covenant rant, basically. So it wasn't even bookish content. It was just a rant essentially about why I wasn't going to go and see Alien Romulus, based on how much I hated Alien Covenant and didn't trust anything in the franchise ever again. But then, spoiler alert, I did go to see Alien Romulus because so many people in the comments demanded it. So, I did, and I regretted it, frankly. My all-time most viewed video on this channel at 6.5k views, and that is a lot for me. I don't have any other videos on the channel anywhere near that number, and it was 10 horror novels that actually scared me, and that got a bit of a boost in October this year. It was on about 4,500 or 5,000, and then Halloween happened, and then it went up by another 1.5, so that was interesting. I guess people aren't always reading horror, are looking for horror in October especially, I guess. Okay, so time for the growth, which that sounds out of context, that sounds terrible. So I started the year on 0 TikTok followers because I didn't have a TikTok at the start of the year, and to be honest, I've been pretty bad posting on there. I load it, I think I'm too old for it, because I load it and it's just a wall of noise, and it's very jarring to me, and I'm not really sure what to post. I posted just a little reel of me doing a Resident Evil jigsaw that got 20,000 plus plays in a few days, and I thought, oh cool, and then everything else is about 100 views, and I don't know what to do on there. What are you supposed to do on TikTok? I don't know, but anyway, somehow miraculously, despite my consistency, and I haven't posted on there for months, we've ended the year on 932 followers, so I don't think that's bad. Or is it for TikTok? I don't know. On Facebook, we started the year on 371 followers, and now we're at 568. So we haven't doubled, but it's gone up. Instagram is probably my worst for growth because I think that it looks nice. I got a nice uniformed look for Instagram, and I use it just to post pictures of the book covers, and then usually with a very brief little review. But we started the year on 1,122 followers, and now we have 1,339 followers, and it's been around that number for about 6 months, so I think I probably should make more effort. But I think that people like to see reels, don't they? And I just kind of don't know what to do, and I don't think I enjoy making reels, so I think maybe that's the problem, because I really quite like making these videos where I get to sit and talk in a bit more length about books and things that I like. And a reel, I don't know. I guess some people are really good at them, and I watch reels, but I don't have an eye for these things. See, I'm not very arty, so I don't know. The website, I don't have all of the numbers for like the actual traffic, but I'm happy to say that the website's doing pretty well. I haven't monetized it, but I feel like I could. But I don't know, I'm being a bit precious about it, I guess. I don't want to start opening it up to loads of ads and stuff, but I might, change my tune on that depending on what they are. You know that your site's gaining traction when you're bombarded with those emails from SEO experts wanting to charge you to give you a plan. But anyway, sorry, 56 subscribers that have email alerts when I post a new thing is where we started this year, and now we have 72. So welcome to you 16 extra people. And YouTube, this is my best growth, and the numbers are still small, they're still very wee, but we started on 361 subscribers in January of this year, and we're ending on 749, and I am really happy with that because that's over 100% growth. So I know the numbers are still very small, and I don't know, at the start of the year I didn't really care, but I'm getting excited because now I'm approaching the 1,000 subscribers, and apparently I can stream live on YouTube once I hit 1,000. If that's not right, someone please let me know, because that's where I've been in my head about hitting 1,000 subscribers, and I've been really excited about it because I really want to do quizzes, like horror quizzes, and for my giveaways and stuff. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, that's over 100% more subscribers, and so that's been exciting. And then conventions attended, just one this year. I went to FantasyCon in Chester, saved all my tasty dollar bills for that, and really enjoyed it. And I got to see all of my friends, and yeah, came home with a ridiculous amount of books, my biggest book haul ever. Took me 3 trips to the car. There were witnesses to confirm that, so it was really, really fun. And I spoke on some panels for the first time ever as well, because I feel like I have some info, or I can talk all day about certain horror things, as you guys probably already know. So that was really, really fun, and I'm looking forward to I've already booked for FantasyCon next year, but I am hoping to get to a few more things. As finances and circumstances pending, obviously, but FantasyCon is the main one for me. Now we're going on to some favourites, and I am going to link anyone I mention in the description, by the way. So I've spent a lot more time on YouTube than I have watching TV this year, or films. In fact, I really want to start watching more horror films again because I really enjoy them, but I've been very narrowed, and I've been on my laptop a lot, and I often have YouTube stuff on like in the background, but then I end up watching it. And I thought that I'd give you a little insight into my non-horror viewing habits on YouTube. I went through all my subscriptions today having a look, because the YouTube algorithm for me has now started throwing like drama content at me, like reacting to America's Next Top Model and stuff like that. And while there are a few channels, like those reaction commentary channels, that I do like, I was subscribing to all of them, and then all of my suggested videos that used to be booktubers and horror film reviews, it all started turning into like reality TV stuff. And so I went through my subscribers today, and I was a bit ruthless, and I axed off most of those channels, and now the balance is back for books. But non-horror and non-book stuff that I watch on YouTube, I am quite a sucker for Luxeria. I love Luxeria, and I don't watch reality TV myself, but I think I found Luxeria just because of a random reacting to America's Next Top Model video or something like that. And there's something just so much more fun about watching a commentary channel person reacting violently to it as I do. I don't know, it feels like watching something with a friend, and hate watching something with a friend is what it feels like. And I just really like Luxeria, and her personality, she always really, really makes me laugh, and she's got a cute little dog called Biscuit, and just generally love that whole channel. I also have been a long time lover of Red Letter Media, and that will never change. I just love all of their stuff. I recently found a musician called Ren that I'm subscribed to, and not my usual cup of tea, but I think that he's special, so I'm just listening to all of his new stuff as it comes out. I'm subscribed to Periphery, which is my favourite band of all time that no one seems to have heard of. Lindsay Nicole, who does these natural history documentaries, and she's got a really dry sense of humor, so I really enjoy how she presents all this stuff. But it's like, you know, things in the ocean scarier than sharks and things like that. ContraPoints, who, you know, does maybe one video every 18 months, but I eagerly wait for them. And Jenny Nicholson, I love. Also, my last and favourite non-horror YouTube channel is Michael Edwards, composer. And Michael is my brother, and if you followed any of our game stuff or you saw our Alien Romulus review, then you'll be familiar with Michael. He's very recently started his music composition YouTube channel. It doesn't have any traction at the moment, hardly any subscribers, and he's just uploading music that he's been composing himself at home. He's, I think, really, really talented, and every time I show his stuff to anybody else, they agree. He focuses on sort of video games, and he's inspired by like those lovely PlayStation 1 video games of the late 90s and early 2000s that he kind of grew up on. Spyro and the older Final Fantasies when Nobuo was still doing the soundtracks and things like that. So I'm going to put him at the top of the links in the description, and he's really, like, he's so deserving of a composition career, and I'm really hoping that the internet is going to work its magic and get him there. I would love you guys so much if you could just take a look at his channel, and if you like his stuff, please subscribe. Or if it's not your cup of tea, obviously, you know, you don't have to do that, but I just want to make people aware. He's not very good at publicizing himself at the moment, so I just want to do the little bit that I can. But I'm just so proud of him. I'm just so proud of him, and I love what he does, and I can't wait for more people to start listening to it. I do, of course, have many booktube and horror channels that I follow, and they include, but are not limited to, but these are the ones I watch or listen to most often. Mike's Book Reviews. I've been just such a long time fan of Mike's Book Reviews. I found him because of looking for Stephen King content, and he does a lot of fantasy, which I don't even read, but I love his videos anyway. Weird Wide Web podcast, Eric Smith, horror aficionado, Criminally, Andy Kent. There are loads and loads and loads of them, but I do actually have a favourite creator of the year, and I realised it this month, and this is because so this guy has 2 YouTube channels. I follow both of them. One of them's called Exaggerated Elegy, the other one is called Our Lives in Horror, and they're both run by a guy called George Daniel Lee, who is, I just love him. I love talking to him. I love listening to him. He's got the, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Grady Hendrix in interviews, but Grady Hendrix, for anyone who's ever seen him on a panel or anything, is kind of known for being the most enthusiastic person in horror, about horror, full stop. Like, you'll never find a horror fan that's as excited to talk about it as Grady Hendrix. Enter George Daniel Lee, and he's so he does, you know, he'll do film commentary and reviews, chats, talk about stuff like that, and his insights are always really interesting, and his perspectives, and he's got a really good general knowledge base when you're talking about like historical and social context and everything. It's just, you could write essays based on stuff that George has said if you're studying any of these like things in film. Also, he interviews people, he has guests on, he talks about books, story. He's like the biggest Clive Barker fan you've ever met, and he knows more about Clive Barker than anyone I've ever met. But the thing that has really tipped him over the edge for me this year, with just hours and hours of absolute joy and delight, is his Resident Evil 2, no, sorry, his Silent Hill 2 remake playthrough, which he has just finished, I think. I have still got the last few episodes to watch. And it's just him on his own playing this remake, and first of all, it's really entertaining because 1 second he's just talking to you smooth as anything, and then the next he's screaming his head off and he's been really scared by something. He goes from giving you sort of context and little background bits of info about the game. He'll be pointing out paintings in the game, drawing comparisons to artists, and all like it's like he's quite intellectual. I don't know if he'd describe himself that way, because he's also extremely down to earth and lovely, but he's really intelligent and he's really articulate and he's got a great turn of phrase and way with words, and I just find him so charming. And he so he'll be sort of eloquently telling you the historical context of a piece of the set of Silent Hill 2, and then it's followed up with the most heinous language you've ever heard when a nurse jumps out at him or something. So it's, and on top of that, it's also just good information about the gameplay, the weapons he's using. So I don't know, I can't keep it together. If anyone has watched my gaming content with my brother, he has to play, because I cannot focus on anything else or hold a conversation if I'm the one doing the gaming. I don't know how George can, I don't know how George does this, because I would just be mute apart from when I'm panicking if it was me. But that Silent Hill 2 remake series of George's is my favourite Silent Hill 2 commentary. It's my favourite single piece of gaming entertainment on the internet, and it's my favourite thing he's ever done, I think. But yeah, sorry, I'll waffle on for ages about that. So obviously so that's on Exaggerated Allergy, the Silent Hill 2 stuff, and then he also has his other channel, but I'll link that in the description as well. But those are my favourites of this year. I know I've missed other people out. I'm going to link everyone I'm subscribed to in the description so you guys can find them if you like similar content to what I do, or much better content than what I do. Okay, so my favourite press of the year is PS Publishing. They have released a lot of my favourites, including The Corpse Road by Sean Hogan, Into the Wild Green Yonder by Tim Lebbon and Peter Crowther, and also Disintegration, which is an anthology published, edited by Darren Spiegel. So, and also their book covers are always unbelievably beautiful. Here's one at random. This is Fear Across the Mersey by Ramsey Campbell, which I have not yet read, but the cover art on PS Publishing books are so beautiful. And I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but when we're in an age where people are generating AI covers and stuff, I very much do judge books by their covers, in that, you know, I appreciate it if an actual artist has made it, and also if the art is exceptional. And in the case of PS Publishing books, the quality of the art on the outside very much reflects the consistent brilliant quality on the inside. So yes, they're my favourite publisher of the year. My top 5 stories of the year. So number 5, so I say stories, this is a bit weird. This is my top 5 overall reads of the year. That's a better way to say it. So Elemental Forces is coming in at number 5. That's an anthology from Flame Tree, edited by Mark Morris, and I talked about it at length, so I won't talk about it more here. But yeah, just the strongest anthology I've read this year. In general, and there was a close second, but that one, that one kind of just tipped it for me. Then in number 4 comes Sing for the Harrowing, which is a short story collection by Dan Coxon. Just consistently brilliant all the way through, and I've talked at length about that too. Number 3, The Richter Scrin by Erica Summers. I absolutely loved, and this is unusual for me to have a top 5 that's full of collections, because normally I prefer novels when I have to pick to make a list. But yeah, that's an anthology and 2 collections so far. Now number 2, if you saw my top 10 novels of the year, you're already going to know what's coming here. So I have cheated, so technically this is my top 8 stories of the year, but these are in joint second place and I don't care. Among the Living by Tim Lebbon, Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison, and All the Fiends of Hell by Adam Neville. And I'm not going to go on about those either because I talked about them a lot more in my top 10 novels video, so I will link that below if you're interested as well. And then my top number 1 favourite story of the entire year is the short story I Miss You Too Much by Sarah Langan, which was in Elemental Forces. It's one of the scariest stories I've ever read in my life, and I'm just so obsessed with it. So that had to go in the number 1 spot, and I didn't think that anything was going to beat those 3 novels, because I had real problems as you can see, picking between the 3 novels, so I just eventually just put them all together because I can't pick one I like more than the others. But yeah, Sarah Langham's short has the crown this year for sure. I am going to be getting some awards together. I like to give out awards to authors at the end of the year, but I'm on a bit of a mission trying to get something made. So I'm going to have to see how that goes, and I have to give stuff out in January, I think, or even February. But yes, those things will be coming. I do have an author of the year, and I don't think I did this last year, but I thought it might be nice. And my author of the year, and this was hard because you guys know I love Tim Lebbon and Adam Neville. Rachel Harrison I'm now obsessed with as well, but my author of the year is Erica Summers. S.Q. McGrath was a very close second, but Erica Summers is an author I discovered this year. I've absolutely loved everything that she's written, and I don't know why, but her stories really resonate with me. I love her sense of humour, I love her writing style, her ideas. She's so entertaining, and I wish that everyone was reading her. And I absolutely love her books, and also as a person she's fantastic. So yeah, as an all-rounder, Erica Summers is my favourite author of the year, even though the Richter Scrin, her short story collection, is third in my top overall reads, but I have just been consistently delighted by her all year. So she's been like in my mind all year since I read that first story by her, and I've carried on reading her, and I just can't wait for her next book. So yes, I love her and her books. Alright, so we're almost at the end, but before I go on to my plans for the channel and the website for next year, I wanted to talk about some of my own achievements, because I don't normally have those and I want to share them because I'm really excited. So I've had a couple of shorts out, just spotted around various little projects and stuff, but I have been working on a novel this year. I've had a lot of trouble with it. Novel writing is so hard. Like a short story, I sit down and usually do a draft in one day, and then I redraft the next day, and then I check it on a third day to make sure it's okay, and then I'm done. A novel is, yeah, I take my hat off to everybody. It's made me judge plot holes in novels much less, because it's very hard. But anyway, I'm working on a novel, so I haven't written a lot of shorts, but I have contributed to a few things that were for charity and stuff. But the end, my little collection from last year was an Imadjinn Award Finalist for Best Collection this year, and I didn't win, but I was a top 3 finalist, so that was really cool, and a really lovely surprise, because I don't actually know who nominated it. For those awards, I think that you just email in your nominations for the categories that are eligible and stuff. So I was surprised to get an email from them to let me know that I was a finalist, and because I didn't know that I'd been put in the ballot at all. So that was really lovely. So I think that this is my first award nomination, so this just made me feel really good, because it's it's just a little micro collection, and I cried about this last year, that this is the first like proper thing I'd had published in quite a long time, and I'm really proud of it, and it's really nice for it to get any recognition like that from like a little award body, so that was really cool. Also, I've been doing editing this year, so firstly through French Press Publishing, which is a independent press owned by somebody that I work for, and so I co-edited an anthology last year, and then this year we've been working on a werewolf anthology called Strange New Moons, and I've had a lot of a heavier hand in the editing side this year for reading all of the submissions and dealing with all of that, deciding the order to put things in the anthology along with Stephen and everything. It's been really eye-opening, and it has really made me think differently about when I submit to anthologies now. I've been saying for months that I will never again take it personally if I don't get into an anthology, because now I know what it's like to be on the other end trying to decide what goes in. So that's taught me to just not take it personally, and that very often it's it's not because your story's not good enough to go in, although I'm sure I've sent some crap stories off that aren't good enough to go into a book. But and also this year I've also been doing freelance editing work of my own on novels, a few short stories, and then also academic essays and stuff. So for anyone that doesn't know, I don't talk about this because I don't think there's any way to phrase this where it doesn't sound like I'm like but I have a master's degree in script writing, and I found that the skills I learned on that in terms of like story construction, world building and character design are very transferable over to like other writing mediums as well. I used to be a home tutor, teaching English language and literature to all ranges. So my clients, it was usually at home students, or if they were adults I tend to meet them in libraries and things like that. But I taught primary school age kids that had behavioural issues or learning difficulties or just some sort of neurodiversity, which makes a classroom setting not ideal learning situation. And I loved working with those kids. And then secondary school kids that just needed a bit of extra help, students with dyslexia and stuff like that. Or just needed a little bit of help catching up if they'd been off school for some reason or whatever, to prep for GCSE exams. And then I also taught adults that were resitting GCSEs and A levels, and also adults that were doing university courses. So anyway, I decided this year that I do have a bit of a confidence issue putting myself out there for stuff that I know I can do, but I put myself out there this year because I know that I can coach at the very least, especially with English. I'm really confident. I make mistakes in my own work, but that's why you have editors. You're too close to your own stuff. And also I spend all of my time reading, and a lot of the time when I'm writing a critical review, I wish that I'd had the opportunity to edit the thing that I'm criticizing. So I started putting my feelers out and just getting bits of work on that, and that's been great. I absolutely love it. It's just, nothing makes me happier than reading what's already a good story, which I've been lucky for everything, all the bits of work that have come my way with that. The stories have been really good, but it makes me feel really good that I can contribute just with just catching those little mistakes or helping tweak things in the plot if people are having problems and they just need a second pair of eyes on it. Catching plot holes is one of my favourite things because I've written so many plot holes into my own novel. It's very hard to keep track because it takes months to write a thing, so you do need extra eyes a lot of the time. And yeah, that's been, so yeah, made my first official money doing that this year, and I do have plans for that next year. But yeah, that's been really exciting. Oh, I'm almost finished on my novel draft, and it is going to be done by the end of this year, and then I'm going to go off and do some short stories and then go back to it in February and finish it properly. But the thing I've been most excited about hasn't actually been announced yet, so I can't tell you what it is. I don't even want to allude to what it is because I was asked to not say anything, so I can't, but I'm really excited about something, and I've been buzzing about it for days. Alright, my plan for 2025 for my goating activities. So I do need to improve on my social media output, apparently, because, you know, everything's linked and it's helpful for promoting a YouTube channel and the website and blah 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 blah. But I just don't, I like talking to people on social media about books, and I like posting book reviews on Facebook and stuff. But as far as like making pretty things for people to look at or making little reels, I think I'm just gonna have to like get over my aversion, my old people mentality about that, and have a go. So we'll see. I'm going to pay more attention with themes and special holidays and stuff. So I have yet to actually participate, for example, in Women in Horror Month. And to be honest, I think that's just because I don't, you know, I don't care what month of the year it is. I'm going to read women anyway. But I do understand that Women in Horror Month, unfortunately, is still necessary, I think, because it's still so skewed. Female authors don't have as much exposure as male authors. There's not as much marketing. The mainstream publishing, traditional publishing, still has quite an imbalance, although I have seen improvements the last couple of years with people like Rachel Harrison and Alexis Henderson Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I have seen more prominent female voices coming in, which is great, but it is still very skewed. But yeah, I review work by women all year, but I think I am going to make more of a thing of things like that. Also, I would like to really embrace Pride Month for literature this year as well. So I gotta make more effort for that. It's just usually the holidays roll. I don't even do anything Halloween themed so far. I'll get to the end of September and think, oh shit, I forgot to read those Halloween collections people sent me. So I try and pay a bit more attention and be a bit more like on topic. But that would be cool. And also I'm going to improve the layout of the site a little bit, just make things a little bit more streamlined. Another thing I'm excited about is, as well as the YouTube channel, I am going to start podcasting. So I'm hoping to take the audio for all of the author interviews that are appropriate, and then I'm gonna start using other platforms for podcast hosting as well, because I've heard other people that run podcasts will say that their podcast that's hosted elsewhere is really popular and has a lot of listeners, and then when they put those exact same things on YouTube, it's like nothing, like tumbleweeds. So I'm wondering, because I'm trying to promote other authors, I'm wondering if it might be better to sort of diversify where I'm streaming everything or hosting everything and stuff. So let me know if you have any suggestions for that, because I'm completely alien to podcasting and I would love some advice on where to host things. So right here on the channel, this is what I'm really excited about, and I've already got videos done and ready to go for it. I've been really prepared. So I post on a Thursday. Going forward, on a Thursday it's book content, so you know, rankings lists, bookish topics, an unboxing if I get my abominable book box. Saturdays are for dedicated book reviews now. Sundays are for author and creator interviews, and then if I have a week where I don't have anything lined up, it'll be maybe a reading of my own work, or a commentary on something horror, like maybe a film or something like that. I'll work in. But we are bringing the gaming videos back with Mikey. There was a lot of stuff going on this year that stopped us getting together to make those videos, but we are bringing that back. So that's going to be on a Friday. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to be posting. So one gaming video a week to start with. And the last Monday and Tuesday of the month, I'm going to have special videos. So the last Monday of every month is going to be Movie Monday now. I have a whole bunch of analysis stuff and just things I really want to talk about, like, you know, why certain films are absolute works of art, things like that. And the last Tuesday of every month, and I'm only doing one of these at the moment, because so that it's manageable, because this is a lot of videos a week and I've been inconsistent this year, so I'm trying not to overload myself. But I want to do sort of like Happy Goat School for the last Tuesday. I have a whole bunch of stuff that's would fall into like the teaching or tutor category. I miss teaching, and also I have tried to implement in my old secondary school a creative writing workshop, which I was going to run for free, so the school wouldn't have to pay me, because the school that I went to is now a band 5 school, which means it's in the worst group of schools in the UK for results, and in particular literacy is absolutely appalling in my secondary school, according to what I was reading earlier this year, last year, and the last few years. More and more kids just cannot read properly for their ages for some reason, and a lot of kids are failing their English GCSEs, and I care about that, so I tried to implement a program creative writing program where I wanted to assemble an anthology written by school kids, and I was going to edit it, and then I was going to work in grammar lessons, spelling, storytelling, like I was going to work it into it, and I had this whole thing, and I thought it was going to be really good, and the school said, no thanks, we don't want your free help. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just go F myself then. And then I thought, maybe I can bring it here instead. So also, the last thing, by the end of the year, there might be some merchandise. Finally, I am going to be having a big sort and relaunch of all my own work as an author. So I've got the collection that went out of print this year because the publisher closed down. I'm thinking about what I want to do with that, but I have a whole bunch of stories that I've had published over the years, and the rights are all returned to me now, and I'm sure that there's something I can do with that. I've got scripts that I've been working on that I really want to pitch, and so there's going to be a big push on that. I am going to be finally launching my own author/editor website because it's about time, and I didn't want to cross-contaminate Happy Goat with it because they're kind of completely separate entities. So that's going to be coming, and I'm really excited about that. And generally I would just like to expand the Happy Goat team because I'm not making money at the moment. I can't take people on paid, so which is I don't ask people to do things for the site. But as always, the invitation is open if anybody wants to contribute. If anyone has articles or reviews they want to write, I would love to have you part of the tribe. I just want to promote more horror in general, read even more books this year. I love you guys, and thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the channel or the website, and thanks for any comments. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for, you know, supporting indie horror. The industry's hard, and I know that every author that you post about, buy a book from, whatever, is grateful for it. And yeah, so bye 2024, and I'll see you officially next year. Bleed.